At the wedding reception, my husband's mistress sent me an intimate video of herself with Ethan, taunting me. I immediately projected the footage on the giant screen for endless playback. That night, Ethan tried salvaging his reputation by claiming terminal cancer and playing the victim. Ironically, his lie became reality when he later succumbed to cancer. As billions in assets transferred to my name, I asked the mistress with mock concern, when he called you baby in bed, did he mention leaving you his fortune? Studying my flawless makeup in the mirror, I smirked. My phone lit up with a multimedia message from an unknown number, a hotel bed in disarray. Ethan's bare chest supporting an equally naked young woman. Her crimson lips curved triumphantly, eyes daring me. The Patek Philippe celestial watch I'd gifted him glinted on his wrist. Another text followed, big sis. Does Ethan call you baby in that same sweet voice? Blood roared in my ears. On my wedding day, breathing deeply, I watched my reflection pale. Ethan's tender promises during our dress shopping echoed hollowly now. All an act. Baby? My fingers flew across the screen, activating live streaming software. The reception hall's saccharine congratulations curdled my stomach. Time to turn his baby into trash. The red button depressed with finality, where our wedding photos should have cycled on the giant screen. Sophia's pornographic video erupted through premium speakers, Ethan's guttural grunts and Sophia's wanton moans shaking crystal chandeliers. Ethan, even better than last time. Quiet. Baby. Emily might call. Scared of your frigid wife? That ice queen probably just lies there like a dead fish. Not like me. Shut up. Tell me, Ethan, who makes you harder? Her? Or me? Every obscene syllable pierced the crowd. Ethan stood frozen under the floral arch, face draining of color under 100 judgmental spotlights. A child's scream pierced the sudden silence as chaos erupted. Turn it off! Emily! Are you insane? Ethan roared, charging through guests like a deranged bull. His manicured hand swung toward my face mid-stride. I smashed my tablet across his jaw. The crowd gasped as he staggered. Smirking, I tapped the screen to resume playback. Ethan lunged forward to snatch my phone but missed. The massive screen went silent as the audio cut out. A crystal-clear Excel spreadsheet materialized in its place. Ethan. I spoke calmly into the microphone. How's that gold digger lifestyle treating you? Feeding your stepsister with my money must have been delicious. Huh? Sophia's scream pierced through the ballroom. Her meticulously contoured face twisted in panic. False lashes clumping from tears. For the first time, Ethan's trademark composure cracked under the weight of hundreds of judgmental stares. Looks like you've overindulged. I sneered, picking up the petit four from the head table. The delicate pastry sailed through the air in a perfect arc. Splat! Vanilla buttercream smothered Sophia's face. Cake crumbs clinging to her couture gown. Her hands flew to her face as she wailed. My nose! The once perfect slope now sat crooked, her silicone implant having shifted visibly under the assault. Camera flashes erupted like lightning. The Clark family heir's wedding scandal exploded across social media within minutes. By market close, Clark Enterprises stock had plummeted to circuit breaker limits. In my office, I replayed the viral 25-second clip, Ethan's enraged charge toward the stage. The damning spreadsheet projections. Sophia's deformed nose. The final caption detonated like a bomb, crowning the ultimate gold digger public execution style. My finger hovered over the post button when the door whispered open. Ryan, my law firm partner and former Stanford law mentor, entered with predatory grace. His steel cufflinks glinted against charcoal suit sleeves as he slid a document across my desk. Sophia's $198,000 cosmetic surgery repayment notice. Efficient as always. Counselor. Professional obligation. His gaze lingered on my monitor showing viral metrics, 5M views. 800K likes. Impressive reach. The opening act. I said, closing the tab. The hashtag Ethan Golddigger hashtag still dominated trends. Ryan's mouth twitched imperceptibly. Merely the first move. My phone buzzed with breaking news, dying heir's tearful confession. Terminal cancer diagnosis. Beneath Ethan's gaunt hospital photo. Public sentiment shifted like quicksand. He's literally dying. Should Emily keep kicking him? Maybe we were too harsh. Liver cancer? Since when? Let the dying rest. Cancel the witch hunt. Frost spread through my veins as I stared at Ethan's sallow complexion. Ryan's sharp inhale told me he'd seen it too. His analytical gaze already dissecting the new development. The medical records. He growled through gritted teeth. I clicked open the attached file in the news article. The sloppy signature on the terminal liver cancer diagnosis bore no resemblance to Ethan's characteristic penmanship. Forged. Ryan stated with conviction. The signature's off. And the formatting's all wrong. I looked up. Steel in my eyes. I need proof. Ironclad evidence. Ryan nodded sharply. Consider it done. 3 days later. The litigator spread authentic medical documents across the desk. His manicured finger tapped a highlighted section. Ethan's physical from 3 months ago. Mild fatty liver. Normal hepatic function. All biomarkers within healthy ranges. 0 indications of malignancy. The terminal diagnosis belongs to someone else. His signature was photoshopped. Ryan's voice could have frozen hell. I studied the damning paperwork when my phone buzzed. Another unknown number. I answered on speaker. Recording already active. Ethan. 5 million. Not a cent less. Sophia's shrill voice pierced the air. Unhinged and desperate. Wire it to my offshore account by tomorrow or I'll press rape charges. That night before the wedding. I've got recordings. The supposed invalid's response came distorted with rage. You crazy bitch. 5 mil for that botched face? Enjoy prison. Sophia. The line went dead. In the heavy silence. I met Ryan's ice-chip gaze. Impressive work. Senior. His smirk held Arctic amusement. We're two of a kind. Junior. That evening. Hashtag Ethan refund plan trended across my socials and Johnson & Associates official channels. The caption read, recovering all inappropriate expenditures from this relationship. Every penny will serve public good. Transparency guaranteed. Comments exploded. Freeloader Ethan better cough up that cash. Queen Emily getting justice. I'll donate $10. Faking cancer with a fatty liver? Give this man an Oscar. Build schools instead of funding side chicks. Refund my streaming subscription for Sophia's trash dramas. The world seemed more invested in reclaiming mistress money than I was. I paid premium rates to keep hashtag Ethan refund plan pinned atop trending lists. This digital pillory would haunt them forever. Later that night, a drunken livestream erupted from a luxury penthouse. The camera wobbled over shattered glass as Ethan, disheveled and reeking of liquor, guzzled whiskey straight from the bottle. Rabid animals. Cyber mobs. Emily. Rot in hell. He screamed. Liquor dribbling down his chin. The chat flooded with pay up and freeloader king. He grabbed another bottle, tilting it overhead. The crash came sudden. His body seized violently. Eyes bulging. A geyser of clotted blood erupted across the lens, painting the screen crimson. The feed froze on his petrified expression before cutting to black. The shrill wail of an ambulance siren pierced the night, growing louder as it approached. My phone screen lit up with a new notification from Cloudwell Services for the Accidental Death Beneficiary Agreement Co. signed with Mr. Ethan Clark in 2021. You've been designated sole beneficiary. Documents sent to encrypted inbox. Fluorescent lights hummed ominously in the hospital morgue corridor where the stench of antiseptic mingled with death's metallic tang. The estate lawyer droned through paperwork, all movable/immovable assets, stocks, and funds valued at approximately $280 million under Mr. Clark's estate, transferred to MS. Emily Johnson per legally binding 2021 agreement. Ethan was really dead. Pronounced DOA. The forged liver cancer diagnosis I'd planted to scare him into reconciliation had become a self-fulfilling prophecy. My fingers brushed the signature line where Ethan's flamboyant cursive danced beside my own naive scrawl from 3 years ago, back when he'd whispered sweet nothings about protecting my future through this very document. Ryan stepped closer, his tailored suit brushing my arm as he handed over the autopsy report. Chronic alcoholism. Advanced hepatic steatosis leading to organ failure. Natural causes. His baritone dropped to conspiratorial levels. But expect Grace to contest this. Wrongful death lawsuit filings are already en route. As if summoned, a shriek echoed down the tiled hallway. Emily! You gold-digging harpy! Give my son back! Grace, matriarch of the Clark Empire, came charging like a deranged Medusa, relatives scrambling to restrain her. Her manicured hand swung toward my face with decades of pent-up rage. I didn't flinch. Instead, I thrust my phone screen against her contorted features, displaying a $5 million wire transfer confirmation. Final hush payment to Sophia from Smith Trading's corporate account. How would shareholders feel about company funds financing your son's mistress? You're bluffing. She spat, though her diamond-studded wrist faltered mid-slap. Her designer handbag erupted with notification chimes as I activated the timed data dump. 3 years of Clark Group tax evasion spreadsheets flooding the board members' chat. The color drained from Grace's face as she scrolled through damning screenshots. Camera flashes erupted as press swarmed the collapsing dynasty queen, their lenses pivoting to capture my steel-eyed triumph. Across the chaos, Ryan's approving nod acknowledged the checkmate. $280 million secured, with enough blackmail material to bury any challengers. I turned to face the camera, lips curving as my voice echoed through the silent corridor. I believe establishing several Hope elementary schools would be an excellent use of this inheritance. Exhausted, I returned to our marital home. 8 years of memories flooded back, fragments of our journey from campus sweethearts to corporate spouses playing like a film reel. Each scene documented my gradual erasure from his heart. Emily, I bought that ceramic tea set you adore. Don't worry, darling. I'll convince Mother to accept you. Sophia sent this welcome gift she just returned from abroad. Emily, must you always monitor me? I'm exhausted. I pulled an all-nighter at the office. Sophia's sick, I need to fetch her. Sleep without me. The wedding dress suits you. Plan the reception as you wish. The memories abruptly cut off. I tossed our marriage license photo into the trash. I'd known about Ethan's affair with Sophia for years. Our lives had become ivy-entwined trees, emotions, assets, everything tangled beyond separation. I tolerated Sophia's existence so long as she stayed in the shadows, maintaining fragile peace between the Clarks, Whites, and myself. But greed corrupts. The blinding headlights sliced through midnight darkness as I exited the mansion, followed by engine roars. Sophia grinned venomously from the driver's seat, clearly ready for desperate measures. Red digits danced across the stock exchange screen as melodic chimes announced Integrity Law Firm's IPO. Standing center stage in crimson silk, I watched the giant screen shift from stock charts to a donation certificate. Title: Emily Johnson donates Ethan's entire $280 million inheritance to establish Sunrise Foundation. Subtext: groundbreaking ceremony for First Sunrise Hope Elementary School. Applause erupted as camera flashes created a Milky Way of light. Trending tags #IntegrityIPO and #Sunrise Foundation dominated social media. Integrity's listing marks my professional rebirth. I declared into the microphone. The foundation fulfills my duty as a public figure. I apologize for recent media circus. Therefore, the side doors burst open. Security struggled to contain a wild-eyed woman with hair like storm clouds and poison-tipped gaze. Sophia. Emily. Her shriek silenced the room. I have Ethan's bribery list. Audio of Grace plotting your car accident. Recordings of her sabotaging your fertility treatments. Spare me and it's all yours. The crowd erupted. Ryan materialized before me, hawk-eyed gaze controlling the chaos. From behind his protective stance, I observed security pinning the thrashing Sophia. She'd outsmarted herself. Within hours, the Clark family scandals proliferated online like wildfire. The police interrogation room was stifling. Sophia sat handcuffed to the metal chair, facing the officer documenting her confession. Her words tumbled out like a desperate gambler's final bet. Eyes wild yet determined. The list of Ethan's bribes is on a flash drive hidden in his study safe. The password's his mother's birthday. She rattled off numbers rapidly. And Grace. She approached me after the wedding reception, promised $5 million hush money if I helped Ethan fake terminal illness to ruin Emily's reputation. The medical records template was her doing. She forged Ethan's signature herself. Said his fatty liver disease made liver cancer the perfect cover. Her torrential confession laid bare every detail of Grace's schemes, from evidence tampering to financial incentives. The stenographer's pen flew across paper. When she finished, Sophia turned toward the observation mirror where I stood. Grace and Ethan plotted to spike Emily's meals with contraceptives to stop her bearing Clark heirs. My nails bit into palms. All those years yearning to continue the Clark lineage. And I'd been the fool. Ryan remained silent throughout, his eyes dark and unreadable. Only when the interrogation concluded did he turn to me, voice edged with steel. This list implicates powerful people. Let me handle it. I arched an eyebrow. By all means. Counselor. Squeeze maximum advantage. His gaze lingered but he said nothing. Night air clung heavy as we exited the precinct. My phone buzzed, a text from the Clark estate manager. Madam destroyed the study. Unstable. Ryan's phone chimed simultaneously. Grace has started asset transfers. He reported grimly. I nodded. Dirty money. Can't let her keep it. The unknown number called as we reached the parking lot. Grace's rasping shriek pierced my ear. You ruined my son. Destroyed the Clarks. You'll burn with us. A porcelain crash echoed before the line died. Ice crawled up my spine, this woman who despised me for decades. Ryan's hand closed over mine. She won't touch you again. Sunlight glared at the Sunshine Foundation unveiling. I stood at the podium addressing the crowd when engine roars shattered the ceremony. A black Bentley plowed through barriers, crushing flower beds, a man and beast charging the stage. Grace's contorted face filled the windshield, eyes blazing annihilation. Screams erupted as the car hurtled toward me. Death's breath grazed my neck until Ryan's body slammed into mine. We crashed onto concrete as metal screeched past. The Bentley demolished the foundation logo before plowing into the decorative fountain. Flames erupted skyward. Amid blaring sirens, Ryan's arms tightened around me. Blood trickled from his temple. Still breathing. Partner? His crooked smile couldn't mask the tremor in his grip. Not until EMTs pried us apart did we notice. The Bentley's burning wreckage held only Grace's corpse at the wheel. Emily leaned against Ryan's chest, listening to his racing heartbeat. His wrist bore a fresh cut from sharp metal debris, crimson staining his cuff. When our eyes met, his jaw tightened but lips curved in that familiar half-smile. My choice, he murmured. The Clark family cemetery erupted into chaos as relatives stomped the funeral wreath shaped like an urn. Emily deserves hell, screamed Ethan's cousin, crushing white chrysanthemums under polished Oxfords. News cameras swarmed the spectacle of wealthy mourners reduced to screaming children. I watched from the periphery, remembering how Ryan had taught me corporate law during late-night library sessions. How he'd quietly withdrawn when I started dating Ethan during senior year. How his palm bled for weeks after catching that machete swing meant for me during our first investigation. Now the security footage played on courtroom screens showed Grace's Mercedes swerving into our sedan. The defense attorney's voice shook. Mrs. Smith believed MS. Johnson was stealing Clark family assets? I finished, adjusting my Hermes scarf. Your client forgets I'm the reason Ethan's trust fund tripled before graduation. The gavel fell. Ryan's hand found mine under the defense table, calloused fingers brushing my wedding band. Across the aisle, Sophia dabbed tears that smudged her perfect eyeliner. The heiress inheritance hearing would begin tomorrow. Verdict? Ryan murmured as bailiffs led Grace away. I straightened my Prada suit. Just cleaned another toilet. My silver flask glinted as I poured bourbon over crushed ice. To new foundations. The reporters missed it, my thumb tracing the scar across Ryan's palm as we exited. But the live stream caught Sophia's smirk when someone accidentally spilled coffee on the plaintiff's table. The Clark family money would keep flowing. Just through different pipes now. In the chaos, Ryan appeared at my side. He handed me a document as if oblivious to the surrounding commotion. The cover read, Legal Confirmation of Disposition Rights for Ethan's Cremains. His voice cut through the noise with clinical precision. Emily, as the sole surviving spouse under inheritance statutes, you hold exclusive legal authority over Ethan's remains. A deliberate pause. Cement mixing for public restroom construction would be entirely lawful. The flimsy document trembled in my grip as I stared at the trampled urn before the headstone. Camera flashes erupted like distant lightning beyond the cemetery gates. This time, Ethan, your legacy will endure through sewage pipes. At the charity gala, crystal chandeliers refracted light across champagne flutes. Ryan materialized through the crowd, his navy brioni suit accentuating broad shoulders. He extended his palm upward with courtly precision. Emily, may I have this dance? 100 speculative gazes tracked our movement across the parquet floor. His hand settled at the small of my back, maintaining exact social distance. As we turned beneath the rotating mirror ball, the telltale square outline in his inner breast pocket became visible through the bespoke tailoring. My index finger traced the concealed shape through worsted wool. Attempt to produce that ring now. Ryan, my nail tapped the rigid edges. And it's taking a champagne bath. His waltz step never faltered. A faint smile deepened the creases around his eyes. Patience. His baritone vibrated against my temple. The vibration against my clutch interrupted. The caller ID flashed State Correctional Facility. Sophia. Ryan's jaw muscle twitched as I answered. Static crackled through prison phone lines, carrying Sophia's manic triumph. You think you've won, Emily? Ethan fathered a son. The Clarks will come for you. That money's never leaving the family. The nursery school's manicured lawns mocked the tension in the headmistress' office. A red-eyed nanny twisted her apron, words tumbling out. Grace made me, no. Sophia paid me. After Ethan's whiskey night, we extracted. Her whisper dissolved into shame. Ryan's presence sharpened behind me like unsheathed steel. The nanny's confession continued. Sophia used Grace's eggs, surrogate, the boys at Montessori. My stiletto clicked against hardwood. Documentation. Now. The headmistress slid a birth certificate across the desk. The embossed seal confirmed paternal lineage Ethan. A 3-year-old heir. Ryan's cufflink flashed as he intercepted the paper. His forensic gaze scanned every notarized detail. When our eyes met, the unspoken calculation passed between us. This changed everything. I glanced at the kindergarten director, who nodded solemnly. Mrs. Smith did come personally to inform us. My fingers turned cold as I stared at the birth certificate and paternity report she produced. So I'd been the only one who ever considered myself part of the Clark family. What a joke! A week later, my assistant delivered another DNA test report. Conclusion: Ethan was excluded as the biological father of the child. The clinical phrasing burned my eyes. Ethan's chronic alcoholism had damaged his sperm quality, making IVF nearly impossible. Sophia had secretly used another man's sperm through a surrogate, spending Ethan's money to bear another man's child while plotting to inherit the Clark fortune. The absurdity would be laughable if it weren't so tragic. My office door slammed open violently. Ethan's uncles from the Clark family stormed in, undoubtedly here to contest the inheritance now that the illegitimate child rumor had spread. Before they could speak, I slid the report across my desk. The child isn't Ethan's. Sophia played you all. Their skeptical snorts filled the room. I tossed them strands of Ethan's hair and the child's lock. Get your own test. I'll wait. Leaving work. The parking garage's concrete chill seeped into my bones. My sixth sense tingled, footsteps echoing just beyond my vision. Before reaching my car, my phone vibrated urgently. The vehicle's security app alerted me to someone crouching by the front tire. Ryan's familiar voice cut through the tension. Emily. My shoulders relaxed instinctively as I turned to meet his gaze. His eyes narrowed in silent understanding. The ambusher lunged from behind my car with a switchblade. Ryan yanked me aside, his dress shoe connecting with the attacker's chest in a sickening crunch. The man crumpled as Ryan pinned his wrist beneath a polished Oxford. Blood bloomed across Ryan's forearm where the blade had grazed him, staining his crisp white shirt crimson. He examined the knife with clinical detachment, tapping its flat side against the assailant's sweaty cheek. Can't even hold a blade properly? His laugh held Arctic frost. Pathetic. You and Ethan deserve each other. At the Clear Sky Foundation's anniversary gala, champagne flutes clinked around me. Ryan materialized through the crowd, impeccable in his tailored suit that hid the scar from our garage encounter. He extended a gilt-edged document titled Stock Transfer Agreement. M.S. Johnson. His gaze burned with restrained intensity. For your review. The ballroom's murmur died as I accepted the heavy parchment. My fingers trembled slightly against the embossed cover, the single folder containing control of Clark Enterprises' majority shares. He'd promised security. Here it was. In 24-pound cotton paper and legalese. Then, Ryup. The crisp sound of tearing paper sliced through the air. Under the stunned gazes of the crowd, I methodically tore the contract down the middle. Shreds fluttered onto the carpet as I tossed the remnants aside, brushing my hands together. My eyes lifted to meet Ryan's suddenly darkening stare, sharp, predatory, like a wolf sighting prey. A defiant smirk curved my lips as my voice cut through the silence. Mr. Adams. My gaze deliberately dropped to the inner pocket of his tailored suit, leaning close enough for my breath to ghost his ear. I commanded, next time, bring the engagement ring first. Ryan's pupils contracted violently. Something primal cracked in his expression, molten intensity bleeding through. His hand shot instinctively toward his breast pocket, too fast. Too desperate. The midnight blue velvet box tumbled out, lid springing open upon impact with the carpet. A diamond solitaire blazed against the muted fibers, its brilliance freezing every guest mid-breath. My phone lit up on the champagne table nearby. A news alert blazed across the screen. Johnson and Associates secures justice for 5,000th client. Founder Emily makes history again. Alone in the penthouse office hours later, I stared at the city's constellation of lights. The diamond ring in my palm, Ethan's ring, gleamed coldly, its weight anchoring memories of hollow promises. Through the floor to ceiling windows, construction crews worked under floodlights below. Cement mixers churned near a freshly mortared wall where one brick bore darker pigmentation, special aggregate from West Side Memorial Gardens. I extended my hand over the void. The ring fell. 50 stories down. It pierced the industrial cement mixer with a faint ping, disappearing into gray sludge. Workers later etched jagged letters into the hardening wall, Scumbag Reclamation Center. The door clicked open. Ryan entered, fresh shirt doing little to conceal the bandage on his forearm. His wound glowed faintly under the dimmed lights, a mirror to the raw tension crackling between us. He stepped behind me and stood still. His gaze swept across the construction site below, lingering on that peculiar brick before finally settling on my hand where the diamond glittered with fiery brilliance under the lights. Not a flicker of surprise crossed his face, as if every detail aligned perfectly with his calculations. The office hummed with the muted symphony of the city beyond the windows. Ryan's voice broke the silence, low and controlled yet tinged with unmistakable possessiveness. Mrs. Adams. He tilted his head, intense eyes locking onto mine. Time to settle the legal fees. I smiled. But I'm broke. He paused, cocking his head. Then you'll pay with your lifetime. When Ryan and I returned from our honeymoon, the court verdict awaited. Grace received a 30-year imprisonment sentence for multiple felonies, while Sophia got 7 years for surrogacy fraud and assault charges. Ryan finished unpacking our luggage and took the documents from my hands. "It's over," he said. I stared through the floor to ceiling windows where crimson sunset streaks blazed across the sky, their vivid hues already beginning to fade. Much like those years I'd spent drowning in desperation and humiliation, this chapter too would dissolve into irrecoverable memory.